So we are excited to share with you a little bit of a peek behind the curtain, behind the scenes. And truly, we want to convey to you the heart of the mission today. And one of the best ways to do that is to talk to those who work with our guests, our clients, and two of which are Jim Hope today and Miguel Jimenez. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Close. So my eye is itching all of a sudden, which is super inconvenient. So pardon me. They work in our reentry program. And so they're going to unpack a little bit about that specifically. I know both of them literally work out of Restoration House. So let's just start out high level here. What exactly is a reentry program? What does that even mean? I think most people have heard reentry, but may not actually know what that is.
So we are part of the Transition Reentry Ministry. We operate 3 different facilities. Our reentry facility is Restoration House, which houses 47 men. So about 80% of the mix that come into Restoration House come in from prison. We have another 10% that come in, say, from Marion County and some other stakeholders like Oregon Youth Authority. So that's their reentering, is why we call it the reentry program. And all of our programs, at the end of the day, it's keeping it at a high level. Yeah. We keep it simple. It's all about, for them, it's all about sacrifice, patience, and transparency, which transparency equals trust. So a lot of what we do is start to build that relationship with the men so they get to know us and we get to know them. And we're there to be a cheerleader. Yeah. We're there to be a navigator, a compass to help them. For whatever reason, things haven't worked out in the past for them. And we're here to give them that encouragement, that confidence. And again, it's not an easy road, but we provide them with all the tools we possibly can come up with. And we're always, reimagining how we can do better to help them. Because at the end of the day, we want them to be successful. Our community wants them to be successful. So we, as an example, we partner with Bridgeway Community Health to provide drug and alcohol counseling. So when they come out of prison, they're already scheduled in there. We just whatever we can do to help them get going. Driver's license, make sure they have a health plan. As far as work, we kind of know where maybe to point them. And it's just, again, that lay low, breathe. We slow them down. At the same time, we're speeding them up because we know the different facets and avenues for them to take to navigate. And we're just very pleased with how things are going for them.
I'm going to back up just a little bit. Can you share your title, your role here at Unique Gospel Mission, and then the same for Miguel?
Let's see. Client Services Coordinator. It's a long one.
Yeah, it is.
And Miguel's the Client Services Associate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add to that, Miguel, about what you do at Restoration House and through this reentry program?
It's honestly just a really good opportunity for guys that are in that situation, coming out of prison, to be able to build their life back up, because they're coming out to quite literally nothing sometimes. And to be able to come out and know that there's a place they can go to that's going to have some structure and stability for them, where they're going to get some assistance with whatever they need, and be able to slowly build their life back together and save up money so that they can continue forward later on in life.
Sure. Well, you bring up some good points. I would imagine that most people don't spend a whole lot of headspace wondering what it would be like to transition from incarceration back into society. So, Miguel, I'll start with you. What are what are some of those challenges that men and, of course, women are met with when they are trying to reintegrate into society? Why is that so hard?
Well, for starters, even if you're not looking at criminal record, just the gap in work history can be a challenge, depending on how long the person was incarcerated. Trying to get back into any field, they're like, oh, well, you have a gap of a year or 2 years or 3 years. Why weren't you working at that time? And then at that point, you got to be like, well, I was incarcerated, and you got to go through the explanation of why you were in prison or jail or wherever you were. That's not even including the fact that if they are a felon or whatever crimes that they have, those might hinder them from getting the job they're applying for as well. A lot of employers don't look very kindly towards felons or people with convictions. So it makes it real difficult for these guys wanting to move forward and change their life to be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes in line with patience, sacrifice. It isn't going to happen overnight. And so it's what Miguel was saying. And what we preach is it's an opportunity for you to start building your personal resume. And it doesn't happen overnight. And so it takes some time. And, the men can stay with our reentry program at Restoration House for 2 years. It's $500 a month, which goes in line with, accountability, responsibility. We want them to take ownership of their lives, and we want to assist them in every way we can to break the homeless stability, because they are categorized as homeless even though they're with us. So it doesn't happen overnight, and that's just part of life. That's life. And so for a lot of them, this is the first time, and we hear that story over and over again about how, this is the first time in my life that things are really working really well for me. So
I would imagine they feel that momentum and then feel excited to keep running that same track.
and that back end support that provides the confidence, yeah, you're on the right track, and we want them to take control of their finances, be aware of budgeting, credit scores, creating a savings habit versus a spending habit. And again, this is their opportunity to take advantage of only being charged $500 a month at our facilities. And, we know what rents are like out there. And again, not just, what Miguel was saying, the challenges, there's lots of challenges. First of all, they come out, no transportation. So for a lot of them, again, it's just that patient, that sacrifice. So maybe I need to find a job that's closer to Restoration House, which happens over and over again. And over time, they build up that resume, and then they're maybe able to go out, venture out, and look at another job that's paying more. And maybe at that point, they've got better transportation situation nailed down that enables them to not just be anchored into that location. And at the same time, we have a guy that works at the farthest South Salem Arco there is, which is quite a journey from us. And he originally walked that walk and rode that bike walk, and eventually got a vehicle. So just taking those steps. Yeah.
Wow. How do you find jobs for these men?
Good question. And again, I guess it's just doing what we do. We kind of know where to send guys. We're always brainstorming with them. And part of that is the encouragement of, hey, what about this? Hey, what about that? And to be frank, the men that live at our place have walked that very same walk, have walked through the door for the first time at Restoration House, and a lot of apprehension, not knowing what's in store for them. But they learn very quickly that the men that are there are very resourceful, and again are very helpful and encouraging to our guys. So they are an asset in helping our men
Oh, wow.
find work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the 47 beds, you'd say, at Restoration House.
Mhm.
So 47 men pretty much at all times, right? Because you typically have a waiting list.
Generally, we're always full, yeah.
So does that mean you two are routinely meeting with each man one-to-one to talk about those things you mentioned, Jim, financial management, planning for the future, all of those life skills? Is that something that you two divide and counsel the men on, or are we talking about outside community partners you're working with to help fill in the gaps?
Good question again. We are basically nosy Nellies, so we are always in a good way between ourselves talking about the state of the state in the house, and constantly just connecting with the guys. During the routine at Restoration House. You want to talk about the routine, the daily routine at Restoration House?
Yeah. So, a lot of guys that are at Restoration House are working currently. So, depending on the job they're doing or what time they're working, it's usually around 4 a.m. You'll see guys start to get up,
Yep.
and they'll be making themselves breakfast or cooking themselves lunch to take to work, getting everything ready, and going out for the day. Around 8 or 9 a.m., the house is pretty quiet. There's not
Empties
many
out.
guys left there. I think there's only like 2 or 3 guys throughout the day, and then later on in the day, you'll see guys show up who work close by for lunch. They'll come to the house for lunch, make themselves some lunch, and then go back to work. And then around 3:30, 4 o'clock is when guys start trickling back in from work, and that's when things start to pick up, start making dinner, doing laundry, things like that.
Yeah, be a buzzing home for sure. Why is this program what you two have going on at Restoration House, which is such important work? Why is it something that the community should care about?
So, approximately 20% of all men that release back into Marion County every year from the Department of Corrections come to Restoration House for that structure, which Miguel mentioned, and the support we're able to provide them. I'll have to, of course, Christ-centered support. I mean, that's what we're all about, is reflecting the face of Jesus for these men, introducing them maybe for the first time to Jesus through the works we do. And so when you think that there's 20% of men releasing from Department of Corrections every year into Marion County, and primarily into Salem, the question is, if they don't have this program available to them, what's left for them? And we know that really, from the UGM's perspective, the only option is the emergency shelter here at the Men's Mission, which most people are familiar with. And so maybe because of what we do down here is kind of a little different in, again, it's an emergency shelter, and there's a lot going on down here. There's a lot going on down here in guest services. And so we're a lot more focused and centered on each individual, and it's a constant and intimate setting that we're in at Restoration House. So these men, on a daily basis, if we have 15, 20 guys coming into our office to talk without us asking them. At the same time, I get in around 5:30 in the morning. Miguel gets in around 8, so I'm there to kind of tap into that early early setup for guys that are getting ready for work, making breakfast, making lunch, so that we're always, we have a bank of cameras and, okay, and go out and say, hey, how's it going? And just, again, building that rapport, building that relationship. And it's just something we're able to provide because the setting there is so much more intimate than, say, maybe the shelter, which has to operate in a different way to keep good controls on what's going on down here. Because, like I said, there's a lot going on down here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
to get back again, we're able to provide that centering, grounding, and just. I think for most people that walk in to a restoration house for whatever reason, they just sense this peace and calm, and that's very conducive to what we're trying to do there.
Yes. Yeah. It sounds like they're finding restoration there.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
well named.
yeah.
Miguel, what would you say are some common misconceptions about people who stay at Restoration House? Those more specifically who are coming out of incarceration.
Well, I know a lot of guys coming out of incarceration, people assume like, oh, you were in prison, you're probably a bad person, or you probably can't be trusted, or in that like-minded area. And so a lot of guys struggle with that, trying to get back in, and it is definitely a misconception. I know one of the guys right now, when he first released, he was trying to do everything he could, trying to move forward, and was putting in applications everywhere. And I recommended he apply at a gas station. I knew a friend worked there, and he's now the manager. And when he started, he's like, "Man, I don't know if I can do this. They're hammering me on everything, and I feel like they don't trust me. I feel like I feel like they're questioning everything I'm doing." And I told him, maybe they see something in you and they have these expectations that they want you to meet, and you just gotta keep trying, man. Can't give up. And he's like, "Well, I'm not gonna give up, but this is really hard, man. I don't know if I can." And I'm like, "You got this." And there was a couple times where he told me, he's like, "I'm gonna look for another job." And I was like, "Well, if you feel like that's what you need to do, then go for it. Definitely, if you feel like that's the best idea, definitely go for it. But if you're saying that because of some fear or something, then maybe stick it out longer." And he's now the manager. He's hiring and making schedules, and he's like, "This is the first time I've ever had a salaried position. This is the first time I've ever been in charge of something like this. This is the longest I've had a position," and he's over the moon.
That's really neat. That's encouraging.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
How about you, Jim? How would you answer that question?
Following up, probably a couple of the cornerstones of Restoration House is we're all about responsibility and accountability. And like Miguel was saying, that maybe for the first time this is happening for them, and actually they start to feel good about being responsible and being accountable. So it's important to note that there is no staff that lives on site at, say, our reentry program Restoration House. We're there Monday through Friday. Guys can always get a hold of us anytime after hours, but they're driving the boat, so to speak, and we let them. And maybe not everybody is ready for that change in their lives that we're hoping for and praying for, and so many of our men want. So we just find that, we're there to help them make it. For some, it isn't quite that time, but it works. And the guys, the weekend there's no staff there. Overnight there's no staff there, and things just run very well. So accountability, responsibility is is kind of the mantra of what we're trying to do there,
Yeah.
is help them.
So you've touched a little bit on one very important element of the ministry, which of course is Christ-centeredness,
Mhm.
and drawing everything back to the Lord, because this work just would be nothing without Him.
Yeah.
So, as you know, preaching to the choir, how and if there's someone that comes to mind, if you think of a specific interaction, you don't have to mention names, but how have you seen the Lord move in the lives of these men?
Sure,
Jim's
I'll go
looking at
first.
you.
Yeah. So I'll pick on the guy I was talking about, working at the gas station. When he first released and came in, we spoke a bit about where he was coming from and what he wanted in life. And I, of course, brought the Lord into it as we were talking, and kind of shared my past and how the Lord has changed my life. And the trajectory that I'm on, I would have never imagined I would have been doing what I'm doing now. And so that kind of brought it into his perspective. And as he was looking for work and trying to move forward, he would tell me, pray for me, man. I need some prayer. And I'm like, yeah, praying for you, man. You're gonna figure this out. And whenever he was struggling, and he was like, man, I don't know about this, and I'm like, pray for it, pray, man. And it's just been a great thing to see that now he comes in and he's like, oh man, this is going on, man. Thank God. Or I just got my first car again. I just got a new car, man. This is awesome. Thank God that I was able to get this, and I had the savings to do that and buy a car outright. And so it's just been an amazing experience to see a guy who had the Lord in his life, but maybe it wasn't the center. And for as he's been slowly moving and progressing, God's slowly taken over the core of his life.
That's pretty sweet.
Well, let's see, Elena. If I had $1 for every time I mentioned God's got a plan and had them internalize about what they have to be thankful for today, that's something that we over and over again. That's part of our chats with the guys is what do you have to be thankful for, and try to encourage them, help them to start building the thankful spirit in them, and instead of focusing on what I don't have. And at the same time, as we've talked about, their road is a tough road. It's the Roman road, and things aren't going to work out exactly the way they visualize things, just like the way we think we know what's going on and are reminded constantly that we don't, because God has a plan. So it's always God's got a plan for you. Just believe, start building your faith that God has a plan, God loves you, and that's kind of what we do. As far as men, one great story is we had an older gentleman come to us, and he was a musician, and he never paid into Social Security or anything, never paid taxes or anything, and his income from Social Security, because of all that, was like $325 a month.
Oh, yeah.
And we were able to get it worked out for him to join the Easter SEAL program, which was a retraining program, and paid him. And anyways, he kept getting these checks and getting these checks and getting these checks. And one day we get a phone call from Easter SEALs wanting to know what happened to all these checks. He'd never cashed any of them. And so during his stay with us, he was able to bank a lot of money, which was very important for him. And we allowed him, just because of his financial situation, to stay longer than the 3 years or 2 years at Restoration House. And finally, we moved him over to Greer Street, which is one of our transition facilities. And at the same time, we had applied for a place here in town that subsidizes housing federally. And make a long story short, he got in there, got moved in. They charged 30% of his income, which, because his income was so low, he will be living there for the rest of his life more than likely, and not paying a dime.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's, again, where we're out there trying to solve a problem, trying to help these individuals in whatever their pursuits are, which for him was, where's he going to find housing with only $325 income?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow a way was made.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to guess that we are running close to time here. But before we close, is there anything else that you believe is really important to share with people today about the part of the ministry that you work in, the people that you serve?
So again, getting back to your original question about describing our program at a higher level.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. Again, accountability, responsibility, and then, love, patience, grace, and trust.
Yep.
For us, it's trusting in God that, and we reach out and pray, and because we do have decisions to make, and sometimes, these decisions, what we're really talking about are men and maybe life-changing decisions that we have to make. So grace is probably one of the bigger components of what we do at Restoration House, Greer Street, Chuck's Place, is these guys aren't perfect. We're not perfect. They're going to stumble, and hopefully they will allow us to be there, again, with the face of Christ, to pick them up and turn whatever's going on, the lemons into lemonade, because God does that, and if we allow him to.
Anything else you'd like to add, Miguel?
I think the one thing that should be mentioned with Restoration House and Greer Street, when we talk about the Lord moving in their lives, is we do have devotionals there. And so on Tuesdays at Restoration House, we have someone come in and do a Bible study for the guys. And so they go through something in the Bible, either John, or I think they were doing John just recently. And they'll go through a chapter and talk about it and answer questions that they may have about what's been read. And then afterwards, we have a meal with the gentleman, and so that's provided, of course, by Restoration House. And
Cool.
it's good to see the guys get into the Bible and have these questions and be able to get these answers that they're looking for. And so we feed their soul there, and then afterwards we get to feed their bellies.
Yeah, that's a really good combo.
Yeah, and I'll mention that, it's normal for maybe 7, 8 guys that show up each week don't even live at Restoration House anymore.
Oh, wow, but they want to come back?
Yeah, they come back. They're part of the community, and it's really good. And of course, at Greer Street, Warren Lund does our devotions over there for the men at Greer Street. So, and one of the for us, it's a blessing. A lot of the guys that are coming out of prison have found Jesus or reintroduced themselves to Jesus while they've been in prison. So they come out with that Christ-like mindset and are eager for more. So that's just a blessing for us. And, of course, the more the merrier in the house. That you know,
Yeah.
hopefully what we do there, because that's the bottom line, is their salvation, and that's what we're there for, is to not only help them move forward in their lives here on earth, but
Yeah. Right.
be able to break some of those chains and start to be able to be a servant, because they're not hamstrung by maybe their past mistakes and maybe the challenges they're facing as they create their new lives.
Yeah. So critical.
Yeah.